Hi, everybody. My name's Jessica with Fulfilled and Abundant, and today I get to interview Josette. Josette, her company is Guidance to Wellness, and I met Josette through the amazing Soulful Speakers that I've talked about before. I absolutely love how heart-filled Josette is every time she speaks. You can just feel the love radiating out and the compassion, and it's wonderful to listen to her speak. So, how are you today, Josette?
I'm good. I'm really good. Thank you, Jessica, for having me. I'm so happy to be here. And yeah, it's a good day. It's beautiful out, getting hot.
Yeah, it is getting hot today. You live down south in San Diego, right?
Yes, I'm near Rancho Bernardo area.
Oh, it's very pretty there. I had
Yeah.
a friend that lived there.
Oh, yeah, I've been here for like 27 years.
Wow, yeah.
So,
Rancho Bernardo is nice. When
yeah.
I lived in San Diego, I lived close to San Diego State. I was in college.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a fun area to be in, especially when you're young.
Yeah, I really didn't party that much.
Well,
Not in San Diego.
yeah.
My degree was really hard. And so I just stayed up all night at school doing my projects most of the time with all my friends.
Yeah. Well, that's how you socialized, right?
Yeah, pulling all-nighters.
Yeah. That's what
So,
college is for.
yeah, yeah. So guidance to wellness,
Yes.
how did you come up with that? What was your evolution or inspiration that led you to creating a company where you lead people to their
Well, that's a good question. Guidance to Wellness was actually born out of trying to put together what it is that I did and to have it, exist in my name. I think that's kind of what we all do. And so um, at the time when I started my company, I started off doing Reiki. I'm a Reiki master teacher. And
Wow.
so I was a practitioner at first and did coaching within my Reiki practice.
Okay.
And so I called it Guidance to Wellness because of the healing portions of my business and guiding people towards that. So that's where the name came from. And I moved into becoming a Reiki practitioner as we all go through different phases in our lives, certain things change. And so I was back in a place of where I wanted to go back to work and I needed to do that. And so I had a previous lifetime where I was like an administrator in a academic healthcare facility. So that transition and what I loved about that job was all of the coaching that I got to do with my employees. I ran a call center, and so that gave me an opportunity to really work with people on, providing the best customer service, being able to see things from a different perception. And so those were all the pieces that I really loved about my job. And that was what called me towards coaching. And through being a Reiki practitioner, anyone who does energy work knows that it leads you where you're supposed to be going. And so that's what developed more. I had dabbled in it a little bit previously when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to develop. And I really love that. And so it's the thing that really inspires me personally, spiritually, and as a human being. And so now I specialize in coaching women.
Beautiful. So can you tell me more about Reiki? So people have told me that I do Reiki, but I don't know exactly what it is. And I'm sure there's tons of people out there that don't know what Reiki is. So do you mind?
Yeah, no, not at all. So Reiki is just a natural healing modality. It's using energy. When you become a Reiki practitioner, there is a certification process you go through. And so there are 3 different levels. There's Reiki level 1, which is an introductory to Reiki, and it allows you to be the channel for the energy. And then you go to level 2, which then uses various symbols to activate different aspects of the healing energy that you're channeling. So that energy never comes from you as the practitioner. You are actually just the conduit for that energy to move through, and you apply it to people based on intention. And then once you, feel that, if you feel the call to be a master level practitioner or a teacher, that's two different things. As a teacher, you're then making a commitment to your students to follow them through their practice. You're there as their mentor. And if you are becoming a master practitioner, it means that you are upping the ante to the access and the activation of the energy. So those are the various levels of Reiki, and it's now being used on a voluntary basis in places like Sharp Hospital.
Beautiful.
I did that for 3 years, where I volunteered and worked on all the different floors, from cancer patients to orthopedics to heart conditions, etc. And I really, really enjoyed it. I had like my favorite areas, which I like to focus on, which is I really enjoyed being with the cancer patients and the heart patients, simply because the need is there, and the willingness to accept the energy and bring it in and allow it to be what it needs to be to heal was always so, those people were always so receptive. And that's always great for a practitioner, to work with someone who's really open to wanting to heal and accepting the energy that you are assisting them with. So does that answer a little bit more about what Reiki is?
Yeah, that's great. So just in case somebody in internet land is interested in learning more about Reiki or wants to become certified as a practitioner or a teacher, is there a direction you could point them, or can you coach them?
I actually have shifted my business model away from being a teacher and a practitioner. My Reiki has developed into what I call my healing journey meditations. And so I do that one-on-one with people. And I also incorporate it into my coaching program, Seasons of the Soul. And so that is how I use my Reiki now. Beautiful. So any practitioner, when you become, I've taught Reiki level 1 out at Poway Adult School before. And that whenever I bring my students in there, I always welcome them, because they've opened a door to a journey that they're really not sure how it's going to develop. And it's a beautiful thing. So this is how it's developed for me. It's become more of part of my coaching, and part of the way that I heal is through my healing journey meditations.
Beautiful. So let's talk about Seasons of the Soul, because I've heard about this program a couple times and I absolutely love your concept. So do you mind sharing with us about Seasons of the Soul?
So Seasons of the Soul was developed out of various versions of where we are as women. Since I specialize in working with women, I work with them to discover the truest part of themselves. And out of that, most women go through different phases in their lives. And I started to recognize how that really went along with seasons, that I could put it into a container of seasons. Now, I'm not the first coach to teach in seasons, yet what I've developed are using these various characteristics in each of the seasons and applying different exercises to them, so that you can learn about yourself within each of those characteristics of the season and be in touch with your own natural rhythm. So this allows you to hear that inner voice more often. You get used to recognizing it And then that allows you to develop and listen to and be guided by your own wisdom. So the purpose is to really answer the question, who am I now? So Seasons of the Soul came out of clients that I worked with that were always asking that question, out of my own personal search for who am I now after different phases in my life. And it just made sense to provide a framework that actually allows you to apply it to anything. So it can be to your goals, to any dreams that you are wanting to see come to fruition. And it allows you to, by being in touch with that inner voice and that wisdom that is yours and belongs to you as your birthright, allows you to create this inner world that you then start to see become a reality in the outer 3D world that we experience.
Oh, cool.
So that's the purpose, is to provide you with a framework that no matter what storm you're going in, you have a way to move through that. And you can stand in one season, like say your personal life, and you can be in a completely different season when you're dealing with a professional issue, or you're problem solving something, or you have a goal in mind for a particular thing. So it's sort of like you're using this framework for different places in your life that all come together, and you're still using you're relying on your own interior wisdom for that and your natural flow.
Beautiful. So, okay, let's say I have a goal. I want to buy my next house.
Okay.
So what would the spring of that goal be? And then what would the summer and
Okay.
so like the summertime would be when I actually move in and get the keys?
Yes, summer is going to be, well, okay, so here's how it works. If the goal is to purchase a house, where first that idea comes out of some contemplation, right? We don't usually just wake up and go, oh, I think I want, whatever, XYZ.
Sometimes I do.
So, I mean, yeah, it happens. So but something big like this, like a house, you're going to be thinking about it. It's going to be something that's sort of like, oh gosh, I really would like to own my own home. Oh, I would love to be able to do this to my house, or I'd like to have a pool or whatever. So that's part of this like contemplation, right? And then when you get serious about it, you have this moment of where you're really starting to go, can I do that? Can I imagine it? You're reflecting, you're using some time to really contemplate that. That's called your winter, because winter, the characteristics of winter are all about rest. Usually your social existence kind of goes way low, and you're really wanting to kind of hibernate. And so you're reflecting, you're considering. And this is where the ideas start to bubble. So
in the winter, okay.
Yes, so you're taking the time to kind of really think about it.
Yeah.
And once you feel like, okay, this is what I think I want to do, then you move right into spring, which takes you into that planning and preparing stage. So you would start looking at, okay, well, what kind of mortgage do I need? What kind of down payment do I need? You start researching different lenders. You research different real estate agents, collecting referrals from people. So that's your springtime. So you then become a little more social because you're activating yourself out into the world more, and you start planning and preparing. Then once you have like decisions made, okay, I'm going to use this real estate agent, then I'm going to, pursue this lender and get all my paperwork. Sorry. And do you have a question?
No, sorry. Somebody's knocking at my door.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Oh well. Okay, we might hear talking in the background. Just a second. I'm going to close my door. Sorry about that.
So once you know who you want to go to and what you're doing, you then start making those plans. That moves you directly into summer. So summer's all about taking action.
Okay.
So that's not necessarily like with a project of a house. Some seasons might be shorter than others, and it doesn't really matter. It makes no difference how long each season takes. It's whatever is working for you. So your summer would be that process of moving forward with the real estate agent, looking at homes, getting all of your money together and your down payment, and cleaning up your credit if you need to, or whatever it is. So all of that takes place during summer. And then once you start achieving the goal, you then naturally start to slow down a little bit, and you take a step back, and that's where you start to edit. And you're looking at what's working, what's not working. So that could look like, okay, I'm in escrow, I'm buying this house, it's gone through. Now I'm in this new neighborhood. What do I want that to look like and fit into my life? How am I going to create my new community here? And then you're going to be editing in and out the things that are working and not working. And you'll make decisions around like, oh, do I want wallpaper or do I want to paint? All those types of things will happen in your autumn. So then you're back in that cycle again, right? Where it's something new. So that completes the cycle of that. Now there could then be other phases of that whole process, but you would be starting over in your season. So you can use that same framework to apply. So how does it really help you in the midst of all of this? If I'm in the middle of my summer and I'm looking at different houses in different locations, then I might not really know what I want. So what Seasons of the Soul workbooks provide, because this is a
You have a
program.
workbook too. Wow.
Yes. So the program is actually a digital program. So it's a coursework. Each season has about 5 videos, and they go through each of the exercises. Each chapter has its own video. So you are relying on the exercises through the workbooks to assist you in getting clarity. So Summer has its own set of different workbooks to assist you with all of that clarity that you need, because when you start to put something into action, you then have those moments of pause where other things start arising because you're moving forward and you're like, oh, whoa, I don't know, does that work for me? I'm not sure. Or you get, there are things that come up that make you reassess or might upset you or whatever. And so you then have to work through all of that. And so that's what the workbooks do through the program, is they assist you in getting clarity for all of those things.
How amazing. So it's 100% self-study, or are you coaching along the way?
So the digital program is the coursework, and you use that with the workbooks. Okay. And then I have a private Facebook group where I am actually active in. Okay. So that's where people can actually get a little bit more input or feedback. And I also still do one-on-one coaching. So if somebody really has something big and the digital coursework isn't enough for them, they can always reach out and do one-on-one coaching with me.
Wow.
So my goal is to make all of this accessible for people, because I think coaching is usually that thing that most people go, oh, I that's a lot, and I wanted something that would be affordable for people to do. And if they want to take it to the next level, they can, but it's up to them.
Yeah, how amazing. So they can do the course as fast or as slow as they want. I
Yes.
guess
Yes.
amazing. And if they do it fast or the way that you envisioned, how long would the course take?
Really depending on how big your goal is. Like I use the word goal
Okay.
because it can mean anything. It doesn't necessarily mean it's you're achieving some kind of monetary thing that you want, like a new car or whatever. It can
Yep.
be. But sometimes we're looking to just get clarity around a direction that we want to go in. We're looking for a feel, or we're really just wanting to have something better than what's going on right now, and we don't always know what that looks like.
Yeah.
So depending on what it is that you're focused on, your you can go as fast or as slow with that program, but it really depends on you and how willing are you to be really honest with yourself. One is going to give you the best results.
Mhm.
Allowing yourself to be vulnerable with it is
Mhm.
another suggestion that I would have to help you along with the program itself.
Mhm.
And if you're doing those things, something small like, I want to figure out whether or not I stay at my job, that's something that might not take you as long because you have more of the answers. You know why you're not happy there, usually, right? And so you can get some clarity around it so that by the time you do leave that position, and you may have another position because through the process of going through the Seasons of the Soul program, you've gotten so much clarity that you know what you want to do. And by the end of it, you've resolved it and you're in that end of your autumn. So it really just depends on what you're working on and your own personal process and how well you're able to process the information that you receive.
Wow. And then when they work with you, they already have that common language and that common framework
Correct.
to lean on, which is so amazing.
Yes. And we dive a little deeper in one-on-one because,
Yeah.
You're talking to a live person. And so I can ask different questions
Yeah.
than you get through just the Seasons of the Soul program, because it is a digital product. It is a workbook. So it is much more of a structure. And we have a little bit of an opportunity to be a little more fluid with one-on-one.
Yeah. And you have the ability to see when they're not being 100% honest with themselves.
Sometimes, but most people, if they're not ready to hear certain things, like I meet my clients right where they are, and
Yeah.
that's where I stay. So if I can tell, if I may question something and the answer I get is a pushback of they're not really ready for that, it's time to just wait and allow them to get to the place they need to be. And that might be a different direction because it's not about my goals, it's about my clients' goals and what they want. So yes.
How beautiful. And so there's another program. Do you have another program too? I thought that I heard you speak about it before.
The Healing Journey Meditations.
Okay, the Healing Journey Meditations. Yeah.
So a Healing Journey meditation is, I consider it like a shamanic journey. It's a guided meditation. So when I work with a client one-on-one, I'll use an example of a past client that I had.
Okay.
She had an issue around, she was brought up by a single parent who worked really hard and wanted, of course, better for her daughter. And the way that she grew up was to rely on a partner. So that was what she instilled in her daughter. So when this woman came to me, she really wanted to let go of that mindset and those responses that she had with men, because it wasn't getting her where she wanted to be. And what she really wanted was a loving partner with connection.
Mhm.
Yet she had all these built-in responses based on this belief system that she was brought up in,
Mhm.
and wasn't even aware that how she responded was feeding that belief system and bringing more of that to her rather than her being in charge of what she wanted.
Yeah.
So we looked at the belief system. We made the, appropriate acknowledgments along the path of following that belief system. And then we went into a healing journey meditation where all of those steps were being acknowledged. So what I do is I channel that journey. So no journey is the same.
Wow.
Now, I do apply them in the Seasons of the Soul workbooks.
Mhm.
There's going to be a link that people can follow that would take them on a journey. Now, those are meant for a large group of people based on a specific subject. But when I do this one-on-one, it's very personalized. So
Mhm.
it's whatever we're working on. So in this case, we did the journey, and that might be taking you on a path. Sometimes I'm shown different places to go, and I'm given different cues, and I will hear what I need to say. So that is how the journey is guided for my clients. And then after she came out of her journey feeling really clear, and since that healing journey meditation, she has had 2 other relationships, and neither one were based on them being providers for her financially.
Beautiful.
And so there's no, hints of I need this or, any of that. So it's really changed things for her. And now she has more relationships that she wants, even if they don't work out, they work out for different reasons and not others. So.
But she healed that detail. That's
Yeah.
great. That's
and readjusted her belief system to
Yeah.
be in alignment with herself more than based on what she grew up in, which I think we all do.
Yeah. Yeah. That's wonderful. And then I bet a lot of other positive things like happened in her life, the trickle effect. So
Yeah, absolutely. I think that independence comes to mind,
Mhm.
that she feels much stronger,
Mhm.
and she knows that no matter what, she can rely on herself, even when the chips are down and she's like, I don't know how it's going to happen, but it'll be okay. And so that's been a big shift in her life.
How amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your website so that people can sign up for Seasons of the Soul?
It's guidancetowellness.com.
Guidancetowellness.com.
And I also have a quiz or a questionnaire that
fun.
people can take that is on my website on the homepage. And they can take that questionnaire to decipher what season they're currently in, based on what they're thinking about and what part of their life they're focused on. When they take that questionnaire, will determine where they are in their season.
Oh, wow.
That makes sense. That's not too confusing, is it?
Yeah, you think of the issue, and then according to that issue, you answer these questions that determine where you are.
Yes.
According to the subject.
Yes, exactly.
How great. Okay, so if somebody has an issue that they want resolved and they're in the fall of that issue, do they finish only through fall, or?
That's a really good question. So Seasons of the Soul program, the coaching program itself it has all 4 modules.
Yeah.
So if you were to determine that you're in the midst of a professional pursuit and you're actually in your autumn where you're, figuring out that, by the time you get the new job, okay, well, what do I like about this and what don't I like about this? What do I need to work on in this job? Those types of things. You could start in the autumn of that digital program, because you would be purchasing all 4 modules.
Yeah.
And you could work with the workbook in that autumn and finish it. And then you would go on to a new subject and or a new avenue of that same goal in mind, and you would start over in your winter. So you can also just take it from a fresh approach and say you were working on a relationship issue, or you were dreaming of having that great relationship come into your life. So if that were the case, then you could start in your winter and then move into your spring, your summer, and your autumn. And then you would go through all 4 seasons. You can take this as many times as you want. You would have the digital download of the workbook. So you could go over that as many times as you want, reprint the worksheets for the exercises, etc. So it gives you a lifetime access to following this framework.
That's
For
great.
yourself.
And then deep dive for the healing journey.
Yes, that's right. And those are sprinkled throughout each of the workbooks, so that you not only are getting this digital program, you're also getting support throughout the workbook to achieve each of the exercises. And it gives you that time to really contemplate and open yourself up deeper so that you can hear that inner voice. I think a lot of times as women, especially because we have so much that we're always handling, we have a hard time listening to that voice. It's that gut reaction. You'll hear, people say, listen to your gut. I mean, that's the same as listening to your intuition. Mm-hmm. So this really allows you that space and opportunity to sink in and get quiet with yourself and ask yourself those deeper questions that the answers really start leading you somewhere tangible.
Beautiful. So if somebody out there is not quite ready to do that, to even look at either of our websites or consider a program, or who knows, do you have a favorite go-to exercise that you would like to share?
Yes, actually, this is an exercise that I learned from a friend of mine, Vasi Huntalis, who's also a coach. Mm-hmm. And she gave this to me years ago. I was working through a lot of fear. Mm-hmm. And every day I felt afraid of what might be happening or what would come next. And so this exercise helped me tremendously. There's 2 things. So the first one is, you every day when you wake up, you imagine an invisible ball in front of you. Okay. And you allow yourself to hear 2 words or a word. It can be 1 or 2, depends. And you put that word into the ball. So okay. I'm going to just use myself as an example. My easiest one was like, I would wake up and I'd go, gosh, I just want more joy. And so joy would go into the ball. Okay. And I wanted to feel peaceful, like in my body. I was always just so like this because I was afraid a lot. And so I would ask for peace. And then you just let a color appear in your vision. Now that when I say vision, I don't mean you necessarily have to see it. You can imagine it. You can hear it. You can sense a color. So you place that color into the ball, and then you just focus on that today I want more peace and more joy, peace and joy. And then you release it up into the air to the universe. You just let it go. And then the second part of the practice is to each day, after you've let that ball go, you will notice that you'll see the color throughout your day. And when you see the color, you're reminded, oh, more peace, more joy. Then it's gratitude. And gratitude, the way that I use a gratitude practice, and I know other people do this as well, is that you think of the things that you're grateful for. So if I'm looking for joy and I'm wanting more peace, what I'm going to do is look for the moments in my daily life where I have the joy. I have great daughters. That's joyous. So right there, I'm so grateful for the joy in my life, and I think about my kids.
Oh,
And I do that until I get the emotion. So we all have those moments where we tear up in our lives, whatever triggers that, whether it's a cute little dog or your children or, you know, whatever's a beautiful scenery, like sometimes a sunset can set that off, you know, that you bring that into your heart and you focus on that emotion so that you then are making the connection to joy and peace. And then I bring peace. Where are the places where it's peaceful? And it's usually in those in-between spots. So we all have the things that we want in our lives already. We just aren't focusing on them.
Mm-hmm.
We're focused more on all the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So give yourself the opportunity to be grateful for those little in-between moments where you find what it is you're wanting, and then magnify it by bringing it into your heart in a gratitude practice that will just expand it. And that helped me tremendously. It helped move me through that fear, where fear started to be less and less and less until it wasn't there anymore.
Wow. I love that. That was beautiful. I was following along just like, yeah, joy. I can feel it in the ball. And then visualize the color. To me, when I see colors, it's just a knowing.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
recognizing. So generally, I love pink. I love looking at pink, and specifically the fuchsia color. So every time I notice the fuchsia flowers on your shirt, I'm like, oh yeah, joy.
I know. I love fuchsia too.
Yeah. Oh, cool. I love that. Well, thank you, Josette. This was so fun to talk to you. And your website, once again, do you mind repeating?
Yes, it's guidancetowellness.com.
guidancetowellness.com. Check it out and take her quiz. It'll be fun, and you'll gain insight at the very least just from that quiz. And I hope that you enjoyed this exercise right now. I really did.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Jessica. It was really lovely being here.
Yeah, thank you, Josette.
Thank
you. All right, we'll sign off.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.